Hi, today we're going to be talking about the code modernisation of a legacy application. An application was created in 2012 using Silverlight 5 as a training demo just to learn some new technology. It was then converted in 2015 to UWP, and just as a bit of a gimmick was run on a Raspberry Pi. So that's the kind of legacy application that we're talking about here. It's fairly simple in terms of functionality. But the first thing we're going to do is convert that to .NET 8 using the Visual Studio upgrade assistant that was released last year, just to kind of get that into a more modern .NET code base. And then ultimately the kind of end game really is to convert the application to a modern HTML and JavaScript application. So we're going to be using the GitHub Copilot Workspace, which is still in technical preview. So what that allows us to do is to convert an application which is stored in a GitHub code repository, and to kind of target the entire repository to have some task-based approach done to that application. So it differs slightly to the Copilot that's available through things like Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code, in that it is a task-based approach as opposed to prompt approach. So what we'll kind of do is we'll write a task, or the developer will write a task, which is just convert the application from from UWP to HTML and JavaScript, and then we'll let the GitHub Copilot Workspace analyze all of the files within that code repository, understand what the application's actually doing, and then it will kind of give us a proposed solution, and a ultimate list of Copilot prompts that we can kind of add to, we can change, etc. So yeah. So without further ado, we'll jump into the demo. So the first thing that we're going to do is to upgrade the legacy application to the latest .NET framework. We don't need to do this, but it's a good kind of exercise just to go through the upgrade wizards and to get the code on the latest version. So we'll just open the solution up and we'll just load it. So the first thing you notice is that we get a prompt to say that an update is required to the new target version. So I'll click OK on that. So that's updated everything as we need to. So now we can click on the upgrade, and it prompts us to install the upgrade assistant extension. So just go ahead and do that. So download that. So just close the application. And now that's installed, we can go back into the application. So now we can click on upgrade, and we can do an in-place project upgrade, or we can do a side-by-side upgrade. We also get the other option to get these nice new SDK style projects, and then we can use the central package management, which will create a directory build props file. So we'll just go on the in-place upgrade, and we'll upgrade it to the latest the long-term stable version of .NET. So we'll upgrade all those files. I'll go away and upgrade that. That's done. So that's just basically everything that we needed to do to upgrade it. And if we go back onto the option again, we can then do another in-place upgrade, and we can upgrade it to .NET 9 and do the same thing on that. Again, this is just just purely just going through the option of the upgrade wizard, which is fairly new recently. Okay, so that's everything that we need to do there. So we'd obviously commit that to Git and push that up. So now if we go over to the Copilot Workspace website, so this is where we can join the waiting list to get access to the technical preview of this. So I've already done that. So just scroll down, and then it says down the bottom here, it's how do I get access? So we join the waiting list, and then once we've got access, how do I get started? And we've got this getting started guide, which is here. And then once we've got that, the first thing that we can do is go to this Copilot Workspace area here, which is here. So I've got the application in GitHub already. So this was the application that I've just converted to .NET 8 and then to .NET 9. So just go back in here, so we can choose that repository, and then we can enter the task that we want to do. So we want to convert the application to HTML and JavaScript. So then we can click on the brainstorm option here, and it will go away and basically propose what the current behavior is, and then propose what the solution is in here. So these are all prompts within the Copilot's application. So we can add a few things in here if we don't think something's quite right, or we can change it or remove it. And then what we can do is we can click on this generate plan in a second. So basically that's the task that the developer wants to do. It's quite high level. There's no detail other than that one bit of text there, and then the Copilot Workspace is then it's generated all of this on its own, so it's understood some of the application, and it kind of knows that the main logic is in this main page XAML file. We've got the UI that's defined by these components. It knows that the application's using storyboards and animations to do some of the transitions of the application, and it knows that we want to convert to HTML and JavaScript, and it would require rewriting the UI to HTML and CSS there. So, and the kind of proposed solution here is that the application is now using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Main logic will be in the index.js file. We'd launch the application through the index.html file and got a CSS file. So, the ideas from the brainstorm is, how do I solve this task? So that's all I've done. This was cached because I've run it a couple of times, and I'll kind of go through some of the variants of writing slightly different text in here and what it's created. But we can click on generate plan, and it's basically decided that we need to create this file, and we need to include a reference to the index.js file. We need some style sheet in there, and we need to create the index.js file. We need to create an app.js file, and we need to update the README file. So then we just click on the implement selected files, and it will go away and create those files, create the style sheet, in there, just kind of box standard stuff. It's put in an app.js file. Let's put the index file in there. And it's created this. So this variant is using I think this one's using a canvas control. The one that I'll show you later, slightly different to that, and it was literally just a rewording of this text here, and then it's going to delete the C# files and the XAML files, and then it's understood what the application was doing, and it's kind of described the feature of the game there. So it's quite intelligent in what it's done. Is it's interpreted the application to be a game, and it's, again, like I said, it's a canvas-based game. In this example that it's converted, there's two variants of that, which I'll kind of go on to in a little while. And then it's decided that there's objects that were going to be moved. It knows that there's a control called padan, and then there's some obstacles, which are two other sidekick characters. So that's literally what it's done. So then we'd create a pull request, and that would just create a branch in here. As you can see, I've done it a couple of times. So create a branch and then just push all the code to that branch. Where we would then jump into Visual Studio Code and go into the source control, and we'd pull that down. Any updates, as you can see in here. So now we've got the actual files themselves. So we've got the HTML files. So I extended this a little bit and asked the workspace to create some controls for the characters. So again, it's just a simple prompt in here. So if I go in here, so we've got some prompts in here to fix the padan control. And I just put a prompt in there that says the padan control doesn't respond to key events, and it's kind of decided, oh well, okay, you needed to add the control to the you need to create a down function and add that to the index.js file, and you needed to create an up function and do the same. And then we need to do some renaming just to make sure it doesn't conflict with the key events, and then it's kind of gone away and done that for us. So that was that, and then, like I say, that was the original prompt, the task, should I say, not prompt, that I set the application out, and you can see that it's slightly different because it's created these controls this time. So it kind of evolved and learned from some of the tasks that I was wording. So I tried it a few times, wording it in a few different ways, and obviously it learned from that and cached some of the results. But it knew that it wanted to create this control called a B control, and use those assets, images, and it knew from the C# code of how to animate the control. So I'll just jump back to the Visual Studio Code. So then we've got the style sheets. So I've just kind of manually gone in and edited some of these things, but then we can use the Copilot actions, and we can ask it to do some things in there. So that's just box standard Copilot changes there, but the real kind of power, I guess, as such, is the fact that we've written a task. It's quite a simple task, and it's understood the code from the repository, and converted that with a very little input other than, you know, a few iterations of the task, and yeah, and that's it really. So if we just jump to the application, I'll just quite quickly show you that application. So we can see that you know, it's put some images on there, and then we've got some kind of key controls on there. You know, and it's a modern application of the UWP C# version. So that's it really. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.